Who do I think is the
Yourself?
if there is somebody who is the next version of the Inferno, I'm going to say that it's Rob Pardo because he's very, very smart.
Okay.
He's going to hate that I call him out though. It's certainly more than 1,000, but I could not say. I don't. There's no slash play with my life. So, and that's been my life for the last 6.5 years. This is the first game I've worked on where I actually did not voice act one of the monsters. Every game I've worked on before, I've done either monsters or death screams. Because apparently I'm very good at doing death screams, and a lot of voice actors won't do them because it destroys their voice. But I have no inhibitions about that. And you usually can't tell, if it's the same voice actor doing the screaming that they're on fire is, that can almost come from anyone. So, but no, for this one I didn't. It was mostly just I didn't have time, and I'm not part of I'm not part of the studio. What is it? The Studio Actors Guild? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're part of we have SAG contracts. So I actually have to get SAG certification to do that.
Did you show her just for her voice acting?
No. And trust me, you don't want me to do it. They will send security.
You might break that microphone or something.
Yeah, it's loud. That's one of the reasons why they have me do it. But no, I'm not doing that on camera. So the great thing about working at Blizzard, one of the many great things is our audio department is amazingly good. And actually needed, this is the first project I ever worked on there where I didn't have to get very involved in sound development. Amazing audio would just show up into the game, and I almost never had to even give them feedback because they just nailed it. They understood what the game needed to sound like. And so, I would meet with them occasionally and talk about weapon sounds or the general direction for music. And it wasn't because it's not important to me, it's because that's how good our audio people are. I think when we say that Nightmares where the real adventure starts, we're really speaking to a very specific group of gamers. Because the majority of our players are going to play through normal, and they're going to have a great time, and they're going to beat Diablo, and they're going to be done. But we have a really good, kind of solid core of players who will want something, a greater challenge. They'll want a game with a lot more longevity. And for those players, I do think Nightmares where they're going to see the game start. Actually, I think they're going to see Inferno is where the game really starts. Just like in an MMO, people often say the game doesn't start until you reach max level. Well, obviously, that's not the truth, or we wouldn't make, we wouldn't put the majority of our time into quests and leveling and things like that. So it's not a 100% true statement, but I think for those very most dedicated users, that's kind of how they see things, and so we're just framing it as a reference for them. For the kind of game that they're wanting to do, that's where the game's going to start for them. That's where it's going to become. I can't clear half of Act 1 with less than 10 deaths. Nightmare, I can probably get through in less than 10 deaths. Hell, kind of depends on my build. In Inferno, when you hit like a really tough group of rares or champions, you kind of can't avoid them. But in Hell and Nightmare, you can. So if you hit something that's like a really big spike, you can just kind of move around them. In general, I think visual customization of your character is pretty awesome. We actually had it in as a feature at one point, just for the Barbarian, very early in development. He had probably about 8 or 9 different hairstyles, and he had facial hair and skin tone changes and face changes, and you just couldn't really tell. Like, the character's not very big. So, and he's covered in armor. So, it was a lot of work for something that was very little benefit. The player really invests in the visual look of their character, and then never sees it again. And so we're making a promise up front that we don't deliver on. And it's delaying the player getting into the game for not a good reason. Like, one of the things that we really love about Diablo 2 is you pick your character and you hit start and you go. And so we weighed the benefits of being able to do that versus the benefit of adding visual customization. We decided it wasn't worth it. Well, when we decided what platforms we were going to support, what we primarily looked for was if we thought there was a big enough install base for us to justify kind of the internal resources for supporting those platforms. And at the time we made the decision, we didn't feel like there was in several regions. I would never say no to anything, so all we would want is to see that there is that install base. So if things have changed and we were wrong, then I'm sure we will get plenty of evidence to the case, and we would absolutely, if we felt like there was a significant number of players who couldn't play the game on the platform they wanted to that we could support, we would. But at this time, we don't have any plans.
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
His name is worker number 8.
Wow, that's cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Could you move it the right?
That's